The version of me from a long time ago, if she could see me now, I think she'd be shocked. Not in a bad way necessarily, just confused, because I'm nowhere near what she thought I'd be. I think a lot of you know that feeling. You made the plans, you had the vision, and then life moved and shifted, and suddenly you look up and realize this isn't the place I drew the map to. Today, I want to sit with that feeling for a little while, and I want to tell you why I think it's okay. I've been drawing my whole life, and like a lot of young Korean artists, I was certain of exactly one thing. I was gonna make manga. That was the plan. That was the future I had mapped out so clearly I could almost touch it. And then something happened. Something big, and the path I was so sure of just wasn't there anymore. I ended up somewhere I'd never planned, somewhere past me would not have recognized. But here's the first reason I think that's okay. The future that past me was so attached to, it only ever existed in my mind. And that's worth sitting with, because so much of our pain around not being where we planned is the loss of something imaginary. Something that felt certain, felt real, but was always only a version of the future that existed inside one person's head at one specific point in time. That younger self was doing her best with what she knew, but she didn't know everything. She couldn't have. When you imagine something with enough intensity, when you really live inside a plan, it starts to feel real. It feels like it's already happened in some way, like it's a place you've already been. But it isn't. It was always just a thought, a possibility that lived entirely in the mental dimension, not in the world. Past me was trying to go to a place she had never actually been. Now I want to be honest with you. Even knowing all of that, I couldn't just accept where I was, because I had been so committed to that plan, so certain. And the gap between where I thought I'd be and where I actually was felt enormous. So here's the second thing I hold on to. On the days when the gap feels too wide, we can't control outcomes, but we can set a direction, and we can keep moving toward it. There's a difference between those two things that took me a long time to really feel. A destination is fixed. It's a specific image of the future, a particular version of success, a certain kind of life, a place you decided you were supposed to arrive at. And when you don't get there, it feels like failure, like the whole journey was wrong. But a direction is different. A direction is something you choose every day. It's not a fixed point on a map. It's more like a value you keep returning to, something that tells you this way when you're not sure which way to go. For me, that direction has always been making art that reaches people, that makes someone feel something real. I can't control whether it happens on the timeline I imagined, or in the form I expected, or to the audience I pictured, but I can keep choosing that direction. I can keep making things that come from that place. I have very few subscribers right now, and yet I'm here making this video trying to reach you. I can't guarantee you'll find it. I can't control the algorithm or the timing or whether today's the day someone needs to hear exactly this. But I can make something honest. I can show up. I can keep moving in the direction of what I care about. The outcome isn't fully mine to decide, but I can keep taking steps towards what I care about, because that's the one thing that is actually in my hands, not the arrival, just the next step, and the one after that. And when I focus there, on the moving, not the destination, it becomes a little easier to keep going, even when I don't know where exactly I'll end up. And that, I found, is enough to keep going. There's one more thing I try to remember, especially on the hard days. Results are determined by conditions, and we only ever control one of them. Think about how many things are happening in the world at any given moment. Think about like this. Imagine you plant a seed. You prepare the soil, you water it, you give it light. You do everything right, but whether it rains, whether the temperature is gentle enough, whether the timing of the season cooperates, none of that is yours to decide. You created one condition. The rest is a conversation between forces much larger than you. And still, we carry the weight of the whole harvest. We tell ourselves, if I had just planned better, worked harder, chosen differently, the outcome would have been different. Maybe, but maybe the season wasn't ready. Maybe a condition you couldn't see or touch or predict simply wasn't there yet. That doesn't mean your effort was wasted. It means you were doing your part in a world that has many other parts moving at the same time. Other people's choices, accidents of timing, quite shifts in the atmosphere. All of it moving at once. All of it shaping what happens next. We're one condition inside an enormous, uncontrollable web of conditions. And yet, the mind wants to manage all of it. It runs through every variable. It tries to prepare for every outcome, carries the weight of things that were never ours to carry. What I've come to accept is this: I do my best with what I have right now, and then I let the result be what it is. Not because I don't care, but because I understand that caring and controlling are not the same thing. The outcome lives in the space between, and when I remember that, something loosens. The pressure of having to get it exactly right, of having to end up in exactly the right place, it kind of softens, because I was never responsible for all of it. None of us are. That's why it's okay, because you have done what you could, and that is genuinely quietly enough. So I always come back to this. Why do I make art? The drawing I've been working on today came from the same place it always does. The goal I carry with me, the one that hasn't changed even as everything else has. I want to make things that feel warm, things that make people feel a little less alone in whatever they're carrying. If past me looked at where I am now, the numbers, the path, the way things look from the outside, I don't think she'd be satisfied. She had different ideas about what success was supposed to look like. But if she looked at why I'm making things, at the value underneath it all, bringing warmth to people, making art that actually reaches to someone, I think she'd recognize that. I think she'd feel it. And today, that's enough for me. Because this video reached you, this drawing exists, and the small real connection between what I made and the person watching, that's not nothing. That's actually everything. It's okay that I'm not where I plan to be, because the thing that mattered most, I'm still moving toward it. In my own way, at my own pace, on a path I never could have drawn in advance. And maybe that's true for you too. If you've ever looked at your life and felt that strange grief of not being where you thought you'd be, I hope something today felt a little softer. You're not behind, and you're not lost. You're just living a life that turned out to be more complicated. I built this channel because I want a place where that kind of honesty could just exist. Quietly, alongside the art, a space where we don't have to pretend that everything went according to plan, but we can still find something warm in where we actually are. So whenever you need to come back to that, I'll be here, drawing slowly, thinking out loud, making something that I hope reaches you. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!